Hello YouTube and welcome back to X-Plane 11. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. This is the second part of the review for the Robin DR400 by Just Flight, available for X-Plane, FSX and Prepared. I'm going to be taking a look at the X-Plane 11 version, and it is available for £9.99, which is ridiculously cheap, meaning that this is a really good aircraft if you're on a tight budget but you want to start experiencing some higher quality, perhaps slightly more study level aircraft. I think this one is really good. If you haven't watched the last part, I do recommend you go and do so before watching this one. I talk about the aircraft, its specifications, what's available in the actual product, how much the product costs, system specifications, as well as taking a look at its modelling, texturing, some of the sounds, and then doing an entire cockpit tour, familiarizing ourselves with everything in this particular aircraft. In this video we're going to be starting it up, and we're going to be taxiing, doing a takeoff, a climb out, doing a circuit, perhaps checking some of the autopilot systems before bringing it in for a landing. We're currently at Golf, sorry, not Golf, I'm reading this radio call sign here, Echo Golf Bravo Echo, which is Coventry Airfield. And you can see that the actual aircraft itself is Golf Charlie Echo Tango Bravo, so you can see how I got that confused. I was going to go to Goodwood, but I decided I might as well do it from here because I know the area fairly well. I've done a lot of flights in and around this area, whilst I haven't at Goodwood. I think that's everything I need to say before the intro. So as I said, we're going to be taking this out for a test flight, and I'll be able to give you my final impressions once we've done that. Okay, so starting up with the proper Just Flight checklist. Of course, we can access that checklist just by clicking here and switching things on and off. As a matter of fact, I am going to switch on the windscreen reflections and the reflections on the dials. I think that just looks a little bit better. Don't need that. There we go. Just checking what's available. So we're going to go through the entire checklist. We're going to do this properly just to see what does and doesn't work in this aircraft. So we've got parking brake set. Well, that's set right there. That's interesting. When I do that, the aircraft moves ever so slightly. It's not now. That's interesting. Okay, you can of course click on these, make them green, but I'm not going to bother with that. That's just an additional click that I don't need. Avionics off. Well, for the most part, I believe they are off. I mean, that shows off, off. That's going to be off as well. This is off. I think, let's see. That's off. That seems to be every avionics kit off. I just don't know whether this is actually off at this particular moment in time. I'm assuming it is, because that's the power volume switch, and I've scrolled that all the way back, so hopefully that's off. Right, mixture idle cutoff. Yep, that's done. Magnetos ignition is in off. Now we've got to move the flight stick around. This is weird. We have a helicopter style flight stick. Very strange. And I love how the stick seems to work very differently on both sides. You can see there. If I do that, look at how that seems to be working. It is kind of odd. It's like there is a center point somewhere here and the entire thing's moving about that particular center point. I'm actually guessing that's what's there. Right, so that's off. Master switch can go on. There we go. We'll actually switch the instrument lighting off. There we go. Okay, fuel gauges. We'll check the quantity over here. Full in the left tank, full in the right tank, and we have some in the main, none in the reserves. Great. Alternator warning light, check. That should be coming down there. It is, as well as a number of other lights. Master switch can go off. Fantastic. Okay, flight controls, check operation. Well, we've got 4 forward, 4 back. You can actually hear the ailerons and elevator. Rudder, that seems to be working. Oh, that way's not quite as interesting. Okay, that's all done. Flaps, check operation. Well, we can do that. That's working. Perfect. Right, next up we're going to check the trim, make sure the trim's in neutral. I am going to pop the trim down to about there. There we go, perfect. So you can see that's right there. You can control that with that. That's the flap controls, by the way. It does look very much like a helicopter. That looks like a collective, and this looks like a, well, just the flight controller. I've forgotten what it's called on the helicopters. Right, flaps and ailerons, we're not going to do any of these. These have all been done, we say. Canopy closed, brakes set, circuit breakers are all in. Across the board, yep. I don't know what these circuit breakers, what these are for. They don't seem to work. Carburetor heat is off. That's on, that's off. As far as I know. Avionics are off. Fuel selector, desired tank. Well, I think the front tank may be the reserve, so I'm actually going to swap over to the rear tank, and we're going to try that one. I'm not 100% sure though. Engine starts. Throttle 1/4 inch open. Master switch to on. That can go on to the left. Fuel pump goes on. Mixture goes to full rich. There we go. Propeller. Clear. Starter can be engaged. And there we have it. Wonderful. Engine start confirmed. Magnetos can now go to both. Throttle can be adjusted. We're probably going for 1200 RPM. Just going to drop it back ever so slightly. There we go. And the alternator can now go on. You'll see the alternator lights go out. Perfect. Avionics can now start to go on. Avionics can go on there. And there. That. And that. Oh, as well as that. There we go. Perfect. Parking brakes released. And let's just have a slow movement. Let's give a good test of this actual vehicle, this craft. Steering seems to be working. Yep, that's pretty good. Move ourselves back like this so we can see a little bit better. Let's do a brakes check. Brakes are pretty strong. Parking brake. Parking brake works. All checks done. Right, we'll do a ground check before we enter the runway. I am going to switch on the... let's see, which lights do I want on? Navigation lights, rotating beacon lights. This aircraft does accelerate pretty quickly. It's very good at accelerating actually. And I will switch on some instrument lighting. There we go. We don't need any other lights at the moment. And we're just going to... I suppose we'll just stop ourselves here. Switch on pitot heat. There we go. That's good. Alright, we'll do our check. Throttles, 2000 RPM. There we go. We're going to do the magneto check, so we're going to drop on, see a drop, see what we get. That's not bad. That's not bad either. Vacuum pump is showing within tolerances. Oil pressure is good. Oil temperatures are good. Ammeter is showing good value there. Carburetor heat. Let's check that. That seems to be working. And we'll retard our throttle. Completely retarded. Fuel pump goes off. And we've got the fuel pressure light on. Great. And we'll bring our throttle back up. There we go. That's that check completed. Alright, now let's get ourselves onto the runway. We're going to ensure that our fuel pump is on. Landing lights can go on left and right. Engine checks have been done. Carburetor heat is off. Flaps are going to be set now. There we go. One stage of flaps. Now we're just going to do a U-turn at the end of the runway. So we'll just move along. Come on. Anytime now. We do have to worry about other aircraft in the air, but there should be nothing at this altitude as long as we stay below 2,000 feet and don't wander too far off track. We should be within a decent, well, we should be within available and allowed airspace. Now I believe the runway heading for this runway is 229, so I'm going to check. There we go. Okay, let's ensure that this is actually correct. That seems to be 229. That seems to be reading 229. We seem to be okay there. We're just going to tune this in. This is alright at 109.75. That's on 109.75, which is the ILS for this runway. We're just going to be doing a circuit around. Everything else seems to be fine. Fuel selector, that's at the back. Fuel pump, yeah, all of that's fine. Mixture has been set for rich. Flaps have been set. Great. Check that. Done that, done that, done that. We're looking at a rotation of 54 knots. That's kind of interesting. But we'll see. We'll see what we get. Just got to ensure, we're going to have to ensure that we apply the brakes. I normally forget to do that. And we'll retract the flaps above 300 feet. I believe the... Right, I'm going to just adjust the QNH. I haven't set this up on my latest one, but I'm just going to do this. I'm pretty sure it's about right. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, that's fine. So we're looking for flaps up at just before 600 feet on this, and then we're looking at probably going to be climbing about 1,000 feet above the, well, probably going to go 1,000 feet AGL. We'll switch off the fuel pump. We'll leave the landing lights on, and because it's slightly hazy it seems, and we'll just see what we have. After that, we're just going to fly around. Not going to worry too much about this, but we'll get rid of that now. There we go. All right, we're ready to go. Final checks, I believe, are done. Parking brake can go off. Throttles go up. Let's see what this aircraft's like to fly. "50 knots. Up we go. This aircraft's not bad. Not bad at all. Slight wind, slight breeze, you can see that. Nothing too major. But that is not bad at all. Don't need that much power, I don't think. Flaps can now go in. We'll apply the brakes. Brakes have been applied. And we'll just continue on this heading as we climb out. Bring that power back. Do a nice circuit. What I'll do is I'll set my heading bug to be 140, and we'll see if that works once we're up and away. We're going to be doing a climb to 2,000 feet. At 1,500 feet, I'm going to enable the vertical speed on the autopilot to test that out, and we won't turn until we reach 2,000 feet. So far, pretty good. I'm quite impressed. Very easy to fly this aircraft. I have had to put in a number of corrections. You can see an aircraft up above there. That's what we've got to be aware of. Definitely have to be wary of things like that. Alright, let's pop in the autopilot, vertical speed. It captures what we've got quite easily. Now unfortunately it was a little bit juddery, I will say that. But it does capture it, and it's trimmed us nicely for that. I'll bring that down to +5, you'll see as it does adjust the trim accordingly, which is pretty nice. And I'll bring our speed or our throttles back. Reduce our mixture a little bit. We'll continue up, as I said, to 2,000 feet. And then after that we'll see what else we can do. Not too bad overall. I think that that power is actually a prop wash. Just turning the aircraft with the amount of... with that being said, the way the aircraft's rotating... Yeah. It's just pulling the aircraft because it doesn't seem to be pulling the aircraft anymore. That's pretty nice. Alright, we'll bring that down. Bring that nose down. Let's see what we can do. We'll turn the aircraft now partly ourselves. It's a very nice little turn. Easy to turn this aircraft. It's a very easy aircraft to fly, actually, I have to admit. And now if I go ahead and hit heading, it should just continue turning. There we go. That's quite nice. Let's bring our throttles back now that we've established ourselves. Let ourselves do about 100 knots. We don't need to do anything more than that. Get a nice feel for the aircraft as it's up in the air. Not much else I need to do. What's this light? Pitot heats, that's great. Okay. Auxiliary pump. Fuel pump's still on. We can switch this off now. There we go. So our fuel pumps are off. Very easy to read the aircraft. Very easy to figure out what's where. Switch on a little bit more instrument lighting if we wanted to as well. There you go. Nice and bright. Although I don't think we need it that bright. It does wash it out a little. When if you look at that, that makes it look a little bit cartoony, at least from this angle, given the way the shadows are currently coming in. It seems to be able to hold heading pretty nicely too. That's not bad. We'll continue along in this direction for about a minute, I think. Also notice that we don't have an analog clock here. We've just got this digital clock on this Garmin transponder unit. So that's interesting. Yeah, we'll continue until that gets to 207, I think. To see how far we get. That's about 90 knots. I think we can crank up the power a little bit more. We're running about 2,100 RPM. That's not too bad. Bring that mixture a little bit as well. Oh, it doesn't seem to like a mixture like that. Well, it seems to be okay. There we go. Not bad, not too bad. Alright, we're at 207. We're now going to see if it does a full turn. So we're going to swap ourselves around to 050, like so. You can see the yellow. Take a close look here. It's the yellow dial right there. Tells us where we're headed. And both localizers are working exactly as they should. So that's pretty good. Move over to the other seat. Decent look at this aircraft. We have decent picture. There we go. Anything else about this aircraft that I need to point out or see? I think it's probably a wise idea to have a look outside the aircraft right now, so let's do that. I say that, but it's incredibly loud, so I'm just going to bring those volumes down. It's an incredibly loud aircraft. Rotating beacon lights up there on the back. Very nice. Seem to can't really see it that well. Can't see anything rotating in it. Nav lights. Very nice. Does this not have strobes? Surely it must have strobes, right? Where are its strobe lights? Perhaps I haven't switched them on. So get back in the aircraft. Actually, before we get back in the aircraft, I'd like to try and take a decent photo of this aircraft out and about on its travels. I say out and about on its travels as if, you know, yeah. Never mind. Just going to take a decent shot of this aircraft right there. That's quite nice for the thumbnail. Nothing too spectacular with it. Just taking a look around, seeing anything. Everything seems to be running or looking very, very nice. Very clean textures. Modelling's really good. That's absolutely fine. Where's the airport? No idea. Oh, there it is. That's not it. That's it, yeah, there's the airport. It's absolutely fine, okay, fine. Don't need to do anything about that, we're just going to continue on our way. Okay, we'll bring the volume back up. Perhaps not to full volume, it's kind of loud. Nothing else seems to be problematic. Message, nav data out of date. Not sure how to get rid of that afterwards. But everything, yeah. Aircraft seems to be just handling itself. Going about 90 knots. It has lost a bit of speed. Perhaps we need to throttle up a little bit. We are losing some speed. There we go. Might give the approach mode a go. That might be reasonable. Something to try out. Is there anything else about this aircraft that I can tell you? Apart from that, it is genuinely quite nice to try. Not sure what that is. It's something you can press. I don't want to press it. All those circuit breakers are right there. Let's take a look see if there is another light. Don't think there is another light. No. But nice. Oh, that just dims these. Okay, fine. See what I should do? I should try and stall this aircraft. We've got a little bit of time. Let's try and stall this aircraft. Right. Bring the aircraft into a climb. Now, this will stall the aircraft if I don't do anything about it, but I am going to really crank up the power. Let's bring it into a fairly steep climb. 1,000 foot per minute. Absolute full power climb. Now I'm not going to stall it over a city just like that. We're just going to climb up to 3,000 feet. We should be clear in this area. Just keeping an eye out for other aircraft. The skies seem alright right now. Can't see any aircraft around me. Just going to climb up, perhaps, yeah, 3,000 feet seems reasonable. Keep scanning the sky, because we are going to be doing manoeuvres, of course. Alright, that sounds about right, or that looks about right. Let's go ahead and bring our power back. Alright, I don't fancy doing it over this town right here. So what I'm going to do is I shall... Right, how am I going to do this? I think I'll turn back towards the airport. Let's get ourselves on a base leg and we'll try the stall on the base leg. I think that's reasonable, so here we go. Heading 320. We'll disengage autopilot and then go for a stall and check out what the stall is like. And I think I'll do a power off. Yeah, I'll do a power off stall. Let's do a power off with some climb just to demonstrate, instead of just doing power off and letting the aircraft fall out the sky. Actually, I'll do one where it's falling out the sky. That's actually a good idea. Right, I didn't think of that. Let's try that. Here we go. We're all right here. Alright. Now throttle. Keep that vertical speed up. Keep the vertical speed up. That's it. Vertical speed, go on. You see the nose coming up now. Definitely pulling the nose up. And we're coming up to stall. What's stall performance like? Well, this aircraft really has to be pushed into a stall. And there's the stall. Alright. Smoothly bring power back in. Nice and smooth. Nothing to worry about there. Okay. That was pretty nice. Now let's try a very, very steep climb. Watch that wing though. One wing will stall before the other on this power on stall. There it goes. Watch the spin. Careful with the rudder. And we're okay. Okay. Good. Right. I'm just going to let this descend. I'm going to actually let the aircraft pick up speed through its descent. Get ourselves back onto our correct heading. No more autopilot required. I am going to fly this aircraft manually back in. Hopefully we can establish ourselves before that motorway. Or before that road. I'm not sure if it's a motorway. Yeah, I think it might be the M6. Yeah, before the M6 we need to establish ourselves. Which might be much harder to do. It should be okay. Then before the M6 I need to turn for the localizer. So I'll be wary of that. And I need to bring this aircraft down to 2,000 feet. So it's pretty good at... It's very aerodynamic. Or actually, correction, it's not very aerodynamic. There we go. Time to turn in. Now, I'd say it's not very aerodynamic actually. Let's get ourselves established for this particular runway. Look out for the airport. There it is. It's going to do a little bit of a dogleg style maneuver. We should be absolutely fine now on our descent. There we go. Looking good. That wasn't too much of a problem whatsoever. Stage 1 of flaps. Fuel pump goes on. There we go. Everything's good there. 70 knots looks good. Just adjust the trim a little bit to help us. There we go. Perfect. And just bring the aircraft in as though nothing ever happened. So we did no stall tests or anything like that. Mixture is already full rich because of how we were doing our stall practice. And so make sure we had the power if we ever needed it, just in case. And we'll bring it in very nicely at 70 knots actually. It's a very, very smooth and stable descent at the moment. And reduce the rate of our descent a little bit. We're looking for about 350. Yeah, we're looking for about 350 foot rate of descent. Should I be landing full flaps? I probably should. But I don't think I need to. I don't particularly like landing with full flaps. It's better and all, but Don't really need the extra drag. Does mean that my landings tend to be a little harder though, so I guess I will go full flaps. Oops. Nice nice ballooning there. Very realistic. Next stage of flaps come out, camber of the wing changes, and the aircraft suddenly flies very, very differently now. We're coming in about 60 knots, so we can't really slow down more than this. We have to really be careful here, because the stall speed of this aircraft is 52 knots in dirty configuration, so with flaps down. And clean, I believe it's 55 knots. 51, 52 knots is the stall speed of this aircraft. So what do I think of this aircraft overall? I'll tell you now, it's extremely easy to fly. Extremely, extremely easy. It's great for the price. It's got loads and loads of features. You don't look at this aircraft and think, okay, it's a £9 or £9.99, it's a £10 aircraft. It's going to have only £10 worth of features. It's got more than that. It feels like an aircraft that is, you know, worth £25, £30. It definitely does feel like something worth that much. It's extremely easy, as I said, to fly. Great for learning in. And really, there's not much I can say. Not much else I can say about this aircraft apart from it's an absolute steal. It really is an absolute steal. Yeah, stop bouncing the nose. And there we go. We're back down, nice and safe. Flaps can now go up. We'll turn the aircraft around, bring it back along the runway as we do, and go backtrack on the runway. Very easy to do in an aircraft like this. Extremely small, extremely easy. There we go, heading back. We'll leave the landing lights on until we've cleared the runway. Fuel pump can go off. Instrument lighting can go off. Very, very, very easy aircraft to fly. Fantastic. The experimental flights model does work with this as well, as far as I can see. And I did also receive a comment from my patron, one of my patrons actually. So thank you, Chris, for the comment. He left a comment actually telling me to switch on the experimental flight model and feel the aircraft. It's very, very nice, very easy to manage, and lots of features. Definitely a worthy addition to a collection, and definitely another fantastic product from Just Flight. Is it the best product I've ever flown from Just Flight? No. I think that still has to go to the Duchess, but the Duchess was, I think, over £30. This is 1/3 of the price, and it's definitely not 1/3 of the quality. And also the Duchess was a lot of personal preference too. If I had to be objective about it, I would say this is right up there with the other products. There is little to no difference between this product and any other product. It's almost perfectly identical. So yeah, highly recommend this product for those people on a budget or just looking to expand a collection. Robin aircraft, different, they fly differently, but they are just as fun to fly, I think. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so for more videos on X-Plane 11. Also hit that little notification bell, not a Ben, don't hit Ben. If you know a Ben, please don't hit a Ben. Bell to be notified when I actually create more episodes. Also, if you really want to do so, you can find me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. Ooh, I'm suddenly a bit stuck. Come on, move. There we go. Perfect. So you can find me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. to support me on there, that would be really, really great. And also you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That's all from me. I think I'll just switch everything off on this. Anything else that needs to be on, I just left that off the entire time. There we go. All we've got to do is close the throttle, bring this back. That'll shut the aircraft down. Lovely noises there. Absolutely perfect. That's off. And we'll go ahead and do that. That. And that. That's all from me, and I'll see you guys next time in X-Plane 11.